The Thunder season starts tonight here in Denver, taking on the Nuggets, and I've got Cason Wallace here alongside me. And Cason, a rookie no longer. You get your shot here to start your second year as an NBA pro. Just how does this feel right now, knowing that your journey continues, something that you dreamed of your whole life? You get to do this a second time.
It feels great, just knowing that I learned a lot from last season. I'm a little more prepared for this go-around, so just excited to see what comes.
When you say more prepared, in what way do you mean? From a mental standpoint, physical, what does that all entail?
Mental, physical, knowing my teammates, a little bit of everything. The arena, playing out here in Denver, the fatigue and the altitude get to you, so just a little bit of everything.
You did play the Nuggets 4 times last season, so still kind of building up that log of the different personnel. Tell me about some of the guys that you're going to be charged with defending tonight and what's going to be key for you in some of those matchups.
Just going out there playing hard. It's our first game of the season, so we won't know. We know a lot, but at the same time, it's a new team, so we still got to figure them out as well. So just come out there, play with a lot of intensity, play the whole 48.
Yeah, Mark Daigneault always talks about being more than just the sum of your parts as a team. Tell me about the connectedness of your group right now and the way that you can kind of play off of each other.
As you just seen, we're very loose and we get along. We just play freely out there on the court, off the court. So as long as we're out there having fun, that's all that we want.
J-Dub has talked about your relentlessness as a defender, your hunger on that end of the floor. Where does that come from, and how have you been able to sustain it now as a pro?
I think it's a will to want to, That's what was instilled in me at a young age. So just coming out, competing at a high level, playing as hard as you can, and taking on tough tasks.
You're absolutely going to need that tonight against a team with Nikola Jokic kind of at the helm, orchestrating, and obviously a guy like Jamal Murray. What's hard about the way that they play the game, especially that two-man game that they can get to?
They're both very talented, very gifted, so they're both great players, so you got to just play off of them and try to make them do things they're not used to doing.
There's something that you all were able to do all last year as well, which is make teams pay on the other end of the floor offensively. Tell me about where you guys are at right now and how you can take advantage of some things tonight in terms of just your cohesion, the way that you all move the ball and share the ball.
When we move the ball around and we get great looks, so that'll be pretty key for us. We'll find open shooters, the open man, so we're confident that we'll knock them down.
You knocked him down last year, shot the lights out last season, but you've also really continued to grow and add as a guy who's been able to put the ball on the deck, finish through contact. Tell me about how excited you are to kind of show the work that you put in the offseason as a part of what this team tries to do offensively.
It'll show on its own, just going out there and just competing, taking what the defense gives me. So if I'm on the ball, I'll be comfortable. I've been working on it all summer, like you said, so it goes back to what I said earlier, just being more comfortable this next go around.
Tonight, the start of a brand new season. Very excited to get this going. Cason Wallace, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, that's Cason. I'm Nick. This is Thunder Basketball. Dub, just how are you doing coming off the ankle and getting yourself ready over the last handful of days to be ready for tonight?
I'm good. We had that little two days in between where everybody was playing. I think was good. I feel fine. So,
your thoughts about tonight? This Denver team, who obviously is just so potent, so hard to deal with offensively, with Jokic and Murray and Gordon and all those guys. How do you deal with them?
I think it just comes down to game planning, trusting each other, rotate. We kind of understand that they're gonna hit tough shots tonight. And they're a good team, so I think just trying to limit our mistakes and control what we control in the game, and then just kind of see from there.
Your third opening night, you still get a little bit of goosebumps heading into it?
Nah, I'm old.
You're not that old.
I feel like everybody, is a little anxious to play. I think that's more the biggest thing. So just kind of ready to get out there and play.
Where's your anxiety sit with playing with this group, the new guys that are here?
Pretty low, I think, just because I'm with them every day in practice and stuff like that. I feel like theirs will probably be a little higher because it's a new team for them. But other than that, no, I'm pretty fine. We have a lot of reps together and we get along well.
Alex Caruso got asked just about how the chemistry is being built so far in the preseason? Like, from your point of view, how has it been incorporating those guys, and I guess what's that connection look like today?
Seamless. Guys do a good job of being accepting on the team, and again, I think goes up to like management who we're trading for and understanding the people we're bringing into the facility. But it's been seamless. The guys are really cool. It really hasn't been any issues, and it's been fun.
Did you have an idea the kind of guy Alex was before he got here?
Yeah, I talked to him in Chicago. I think we played them opening night last year, if I'm right.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah. So just actually kind of in the back or whatever, but he's cool. I think everybody has good things to say about him just throughout the league. Everybody knows that he's well respected, and obviously, him going to college as long as he did and then working his way up through the G. It's just one of those things where he's earned respect throughout the league, and it shows with our team.
It's a defensively stacked team. Who would you say is the most relentless defender on this team right now?
Maybe Queso or Lou or AC or me. I don't know. Maybe Queso. I think he has maybe Queso or Lou. I think Queso from the point of, just being young and full of energy. I think that really shows. And then obviously Lou has a good track record. That's kind of a hard question because I feel like that's what makes us a good defensive team. But I think just as far as energy, I think it's probably Queso.
On the defensive end, just how much cohesion do you feel like you guys have built up with the new additions that you guys have coming into preseason, regular season?
Definitely enough. I think there's still going to be a learning curve. That's if we didn't add anybody on the offseason too. It's just one of those things throughout the season. You got to see how teams guard you and just kind of how the season unfolds. But I think we've done the best we could with obviously the time parameters and just things like that, and obviously Hart being hurt. But I think we built up a lot of good stuff in the preseason, and then it's just going to be one of those things you work out throughout the whole year, and obviously you get better towards the end.
Mark, just given the way that obviously Jokic elevates the guys around him, what are some keys for you guys in trying to fly around him and make sure that he doesn't create easy opportunities?
Well, he's a great player because he can score and make a game easy for everybody else. So the scoring, not giving him the easy stuff for himself and then not allowing him to ignite the easy stuff for his teammates. So he's going to make the right pass, but we want to cut out the highest efficient option for him. He's going to throw the right passes, but you can control what options you give him, and you can't give him the best option on a certain play, but it's easier said than done. They're so used to being able to move around him because they know they're going to get the ball.
Just given no Hartenstein, no Jay Will, what are some things that, if you are small at portions of time tonight, that you really want to take advantage of in being small?
The good news is it's something that we're used to. We've done it quite a bit, and we're going to have to do it during this stretch. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. We'd like to do the same things we always do. We'd like to put pressure on the defense, and we'd like to be hard to score on. And regardless of what lineup we have out there, those are our goals.
Circumstances, is there anything you could share as to how you might want to use a guy like Dylan Jones?
I'm not going to give you anything rotationally now that we're in the regular season. The only thing I'll say is it's going to be fluid, to start the season, and that was the plan all along. And so that includes the starting lineups, that includes lineups out of halftime, it includes rotations. I wouldn't assume that one thing you see tonight is set in stone in any shape or form. It's going to be very, very fluid. The guys are aware of that. We think it's given us a nice advantage over time, and we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, obviously, in the preseason, we talked about the higher volume in threes, and we saw it. But in a regular season setting, is there a balance you want to strike with how organic that looks and how it comes?
A lot of it's what you get on a possession. I think it's you're not trying. The end game is not to shoot more threes. The end game is to have the most efficient offense you can. So if they let us dunk every time down tonight, we're going to take the dunks. And same with free throws and stuff like that. But we also want to be really liberal about good shooters shooting threes. And that's obviously Shea and Dub have gotten a lot of attention on that. But we've got role players that really, really can shoot it. And we want to free them up and give them the confidence to do so.
Zhang seems like a guy who can help in the front court, especially with the current state of your front court right now. I know you guys just picked up his option. Where is he at, and where do you think he can kind of help this team?
Well, where he's at is a lot further along than he was a year ago and a lot further along than he was 2 years ago. And I think when we drafted him, it was with the assumption that it was going to take him a while to develop, especially physically. And he's done an unbelievable job with his body. He's done an unbelievable job with his game. And he's become a very functional player that I trust in the game. And so we'll see what the role ends up being. I mean, he's put in a little bit of a tough spot when we're small like this because he's really a perimeter player. But, we're optimistic about him. We think he's a really good player, and we think he can really help this team. And how that comes to be, we'll see, obviously.
I mean, you kind of mentioned it there, but how do you think he kind of can handle maybe some minutes in the front court, even though, like you said, his game might not?
Well, if he's out there, he's going to have to because he's the tallest guy. So, it's something he's done before. If you go back and watch our first game last year, we played small against Chicago with him at the 5. That was a year ago, and 8 or 10 pounds ago, and a lot of experience ago. So it's something we've obviously been willing to do for a long time. The guys are all aware of that. He knows how to play in those situations, and that's where you take an injury or a couple injuries like this. That's where some of the value of keeping things fluid and looking at a lot of different things shows up because, we're going to have to play small during this stretch of time. But it's not an unfamiliar position for the team or for individual players.
Without the height, without the physicality, do you lean heavy on just strong defense and taking good shots?
Well, just because you don't have the height doesn't mean you don't have the physicality. Physicality is a choice, and we need to be physical regardless of who's on the court and how tall they are. But yeah, we're going to need to be really active. We're going to need to be really feisty on the defensive end, and offensively, we're going to have an aggressive mentality. But we want to be an aggressive team on both ends, and our aggression isn't going to be impacted by who's on the court and how tall they are or what lineup it is. We're going to play to who we are regardless of who's out there.
Mark, I wonder, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
How do you see Denver? And in the context of the conversation around them, obviously you have nothing to do with that, but there is this sense that, they lose Bruce Brown, they lose KCP, they're falling off, and we're guilty in the media of maybe not putting them, in that group that's going to be there at the end. But coaching-wise, how do you see this group?
I mean, obviously potent with a lot of respect for them. And what I would say to the commentary prior to that is our jobs as teams is for the whole to be better than the sum of the parts. Yeah. And that can sometimes work in weird ways. You can look down on paper and say, well, they lost this guy. They didn't replace it with X, Y, or Z. But all that matters in a team is that the whole is greater than the sum. And there's been great examples of teams that have done that well. I thought we were a team that did that very well last year. I thought we were better because we were collective than we were with the individual parts. And that's their challenge. It's our challenge, and it's 28 other teams' challenge. But we certainly don't take them lightly because they have continuity at the top of the roster. They really have a system that they know how to play to and will come to play. They also are hungry right now. I think you can get a sense from them just from listening to them and watching them from a distance that there's a hunger coming off of the championship, last season with how the season went and how it ended, and a hunger specific to us. We beat them 3 out of 4 times last year, and they haven't been shy about making that known. I mean, I think they're going to come at us tonight, which is a great opportunity for both teams. It'll be a great game.
Mark, I imagine you're focused on your own team, but Boston the other night shot 63s. I just wonder what your stance is on, whether the league might try to mimic that as the years come and just what that might mean for the game.
I mean, I think if you look at the three-point volume over a decade, it's been a continual increase as teams have become more sophisticated with analytics, and quite frankly, as players have become more sophisticated with analytics. I think, there was a time where certain teams had access to analytical information that other teams didn't really have access to or weren't looking at. Now everybody's kind of dealing with the same information. Now it's a matter of how you analyze it and how you utilize it. But I think what's happening now and what you're seeing is that players are becoming educated on efficiency. Players are understanding that that's what creates value for the team. It's what creates value for them individually. And that's why I think you're seeing individual commitment by guys to shoot efficient shots. And that's not always threes, but I think it's got a lot to do with it.
Do you feel like, how do you see guys kind of embrace or not embrace analytics? Like, what's that relationship been like, just maybe here?
We just use it as an education process. We never use the word analytics because it became a kind of a negative connotation term at one point. We talk about efficiency, and we talk about getting the most out of our possessions, players getting the most out of their possessions. And efficiency doesn't just come down to the shots you shoot. If Cason Wallace is a great shot contester on mid-range jump shots, that's being an efficient player. If Hartenstein blocks out the 5-man and other people get the rebound, that's being an efficient player. So there's a lot of different ways to be an efficient player. We try to educate the players based on their strengths on how they can do that. And we found that if you do that in a way that embraces their unique qualities and educates them on what the league, wants and needs and what contributes to team success, then they'll be committed to it.